G'day, Andy from Single Malt. How you doing? I'm going to do an American whiskey today. Now, this is unusual, an American single malt whiskey. So we don't get a lot of American single malt whiskies, but the people in the Northeast, in Washington State, around Seattle, have not only produced Boeing aircraft and bands like Nirvana and Starbucks coffee, but they're now producing single malt whiskies, and this is the largest single malt distiller in the US, and their whiskey is called Westland. This is the expression called the American, and they do some other ones which are quite interesting. So we might do some of the other expressions in other reviews, but this is the first and the flagship. So let's give it a go. Straight up, it's American, so it's different. It's going to be different to Scottish, and the barley that is used is predominantly a local variety from Washington State. There's actually 5 different barleys that are used in the making of this. They use a Munich malt, which I think it's a very pale malt and extra special malt, pale chocolate malt, and a brown malt. Brown malts are usually used to make porter beers, which are real stouts, those big heavy beers. So already you can see that they're doing things differently, and it's almost a beer kind of mentality. So I suspect that there's a real brewer at the heart of Westland who's turned his hand to make single malt whiskey. The other thing that's unique is that they've actually used a brewer's malt rather than a yeast rather than a distiller's yeast. And what that means is the fermentation pegs out at about 5%, whereas with a distiller's yeast, it'll go all the way up to 8%. It'll be a much richer, higher alcohol fermentation, which means when it goes into the wash still, it's being distilled, in this case, from 5% up to 28%, whereas in Scotland, it would be going from 8 to 28. So it's a lot less efficient because you've got to do a lot of work by removing a lot more water. But I suspect that the original flavour profiles of components that are being developed at that stage are going to be different. So, look, I'm looking forward to trying this whiskey to see if there are different flavours, if the malts that are used in the selection and the brewing process carry through. And the other thing that's interesting is this is aged in new American oak. A lot of new American oak is used to age this whiskey. There is a little bit of refill bourbon barrels, which is commonly used in Scotland, but this is predominantly new oak, first fill, heavily charred first fill American oak barrels. And it's only been aged for 2 years, which is what bourbon gets. So it's got the same length of time of aging as bourbon, and bourbon goes for 2 years in new oak. So there might be some corollaries there with bourbon. Won't know it till we try it, hey? So let's open the box and see what we've got. Thoughtfully made is its catch cry. Let's see. Oh, it's a nice bottle. Very different, very square shouldered, and look at that colour. Wow. Now there's no caramel added. There's no colouring added. So that is the original colour. Now, if I would see that, I'd be guessing sherry straight up, right? But no sherry in this. It's just no sherry cask. It's just first fill bourbon and that heavy oaky. Now, this colour might stem right back from that pale chocolate or that brown malt that they've used. I don't know. Ooh, oh, it's a screw lid, no cork. Points off for that. No, not really. Let's have a look. I'm really excited about this whiskey. better put that lid back on because you know what I'm like. I'll throw my arms around and get all excited with gesticulating. Okay, well, I'm a little underwhelmed with the nose straight up. I was expecting a bit more punch, especially for such a young whiskey. Let me have another look at it. Okay, so this is 46% alcohol, so it's a full whammy. What am I getting there? A little bit of caramel and oh gee whiz, it's hard to describe actually. It's quite subtle for a whiskey. I was expecting, I'm used to getting lots of it jumping out of the glass. This is a lot more subdued. I'm getting sort of rich chocolate. Yeah, sort of, you know, that 70% lint type chocolate. And then there's certainly some vanilla, but it's not blowing me away with the nose. Let's have a taste. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's a sensation. Whoa. It blew my mind. It was like, yeah, this is good. Oh my God. There's another flavour. Bam. Come through. Oh my God. It's taken it to another level again. It's gone bam, bam, bam. Yeah, really interesting intensity. I think it is that chocolate and the sort of that richness you get in a stout, in the Guinness. You know how it's got that really beautiful flavour. So that sort of comes through. Yeah, I think that malt flavour has come all the way through. It's sort of got a smokiness as well, probably from that really heavy charring. That's really quite nice. Look, it's really clean. It's got a lovely mouthfeel, really soapy and sticks to the mouth and is really mouth filling. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I love that cascade of flavours. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, and it's really unusual with that. You can really taste that burnt, charry flavour. It's really good. Gosh, this is single malt whiskey, but different to anything I've had before. So you got to give it a try. This one out of the box. Bloody good whiskey.